I have created a list of 15 things that you can expect. Some of them might be more obvious to you and maybe some of it is new when you start your heels journey. Hiya and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Robyn and this is Heels Hive. On this channel, I create content about heels dancing and everything related to it. So I think we need to have a chat. If you've never been to a heels class or you're considering it or you have a friend that wants to go and you think they should see this video, you can share it to them. So grab yourself a drink, coffee, tea, whatever you fancy, get comfortable and maybe you want to take some notes. I think I need to be frank with you and tell you that heels is not the easiest dance style to start off if you've never danced before. It is much more difficult if you don't have any other experience in other dance styles, and here is why. Heels is a commercial dance style that uses techniques from ballet, jazz, modern and ballroom / Latin dance styles such as salsa, bachata, cha-cha, merengue and so forth. So when we wear heels, we are elevated. So what happens when we put the heels on is that we change the way that we carry our bodies and our weight gets shifted forward. So you will most likely have less weight on your heel. You have more weight on the balls of your feet and you will start using different muscles than what you would use when you are stepping on a whole foot. If you have done sports or gymnastics or anything similar, you might have developed bodily awareness and that will help you on your journey when dancing in heels. So if you're just starting off and heels is the only dance class you go to, I would recommend doing the exercises and choreography sometimes without the heels, or if it's possible for you to take another dance style and go to other classes. So when I'm teaching heels, especially for beginners, I recommend that people try the exercises and possibly the choreography without the heels on first. And then when you feel comfortable with the movement and directions, musicality, dynamics, all of it, that's when you put the shoes on. So yes, that was my number one. If it's your first dance style, bless you. It's going to be much more difficult to pick up heels if you don't have any background in dance, in gymnastics, in sports. But I don't want to say that it's impossible. I do recommend taking another dance style such as ballet. In ballet class, you will constantly go to releve, which is peeling off the heels from the floor, rising up to your tippy toes. So we use that quite a lot in ballet. Therefore, I think it's a great dance style to combine it with heels. Number two, it is fun. It is so freeing and I'm sure you enjoy it. Number three, making friends in a dance class. Dancing is social and you need to have a spatial awareness of yourself, of the other people, of the room, and you start to interact with people and it's just so joyous. Unless you take private classes or you take classes online from your home, then maybe you don't get to experience that. But usually I can pretty much say that when I'm traveling internationally or meeting people that are from a different culture, when we dance together, it's social, you connect with people. I mean, it does depend on your culture. If I take a dance class in Finland or Sweden, we are pretty much focused in ourselves. It's not that we don't want to interact, but that's just how our cultures work. And you don't touch people or you speak to them when you have something to say, versus when I would go to London, it's just that if your eyes meet, basically that's a cue for you to say hi and to meet with other people. And it's very common to walk up to somebody and, you know, if you really like what they did, you were dancing the choreography, you can let them know, and it's super easy to connect with people. Number four, I would recommend sticking to one class in the beginning if that's possible, unless you're taking like drop-in classes, then it's not as consistent. But I think especially in the start of your journey, choose a class and commit and just make sure that you get there. In the start, you just need to constantly remind yourself of the same things, and that's how you start learning. That's how you teach yourself to do things. And when you work with one teacher, it takes multiple times to meet with them, take their class, to actually understand what they're asking from you and to get familiar with their movement style and how they build their choreographies and their technique. Especially when you go to your first class, can be a bit overwhelming because it's so much new information, new people, and you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really know if you should be there or you shouldn't. But it gets easier, especially if you stick to one class, and you will get comfortable coming to the room and making sure that you are giving your 100% on each day when you show up and you do your thing. Number 5, I know it's hard, it's difficult, and it might even seem impossible, but try your best not to get frustrated in the class with yourself, with the other people, or with the teacher. And sometimes it can be really difficult to calm yourself down, but if you get into that mindset, it will be impossible for you to learn than just like accepting that, okay, this is where I'm at today, this is what I'm feeling, what can I do better, what is possible to achieve today, and then you just focus on the task in front of you. So try to be present in the room. I get frustrated when I feel like I'm not learning something, and yeah, it takes time. If you have a good teacher, they will only ask you to do things that they think you're capable of doing. The teachers don't come up there to make you feel bad about yourself, or at least they shouldn't. You are a customer, even though you're a student, but you pay that person to be there, and they should care about you, class, and their work enough to make sure that you feel comfortable and you feel as safe as possible in the room, and that they are there to help you and support you. Number 6, don't be afraid to break things down for yourself. Now, if you are learning a routine and let's say isolating your body parts, there's this one exercise that you can try with me just now, is that you have one hand circulating like this and the other one is patting like this. It's surprisingly hard. Maybe when you start, you need to first focus on one hand, and one hand doing the circle. When you get that, and you focus on the other hand that is patting, then you can slowly put them together. If this was in a combination, in a choreography, but it's okay, like you don't need to have everything from the start. Like that's how we learn, pieces by pieces. Number 7, do listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Our bodies are unique, they're different, so they're not built to be the same. So what one person is capable of doing, maybe yes, you can do that, but not exactly in the same way, and that is completely fine. It can be another dancer, a teacher, but just know that if you have a gut feeling that something's off or like something doesn't feel good, I don't think it's worthy of you doing it. Rather go to the classes and have fun because you enjoy dancing, because that's going to keep you motivated, than pushing yourself to do things that actually you don't enjoy or you don't find them comfortable in the start of your journey. And this leads me to my next point, which is number 8, learning to understand your bodily cues. When we stretch, stretching can happen on various different ways. We can stretch as in when we are doing a stretch. We can have a stretching feeling when we are moving through the choreography. There's passive stretching, active stretching. Depending on your philosophy, there are multiple different ways to stretch. It is connected to neuroscience. So if you're really interested in neuroscience and stretching, I recommend that you look at the video by Andrew Huberman. He talks about how to improve flexibility with research supported stretching protocols. Is really interesting. It's packed with information, and some of it can be a little bit complex and tricky to understand if that is not something you're familiar with. What I wanted to say is that there are different types of sensations that we can experience when we are stretching. So there is pain that is good pain, and there is pain that is not good, bad. And recognizing which one is which takes time. So when you feel a good kind of pain, it can be that your muscles are working and they're getting sore as you are doing the movements. And when there's a bad type of pain, you can feel that something is ripping apart, or your joints hurt, or just multiple different ways of doing it wrong. There is different types of sensations of pain that you can experience, and that is connected to neuroscience. I can also create a video about stretching if that is helpful for you. And do subscribe to my channel and like this video if you want to support me. Number 9, where you might feel pain after your first heels class, is most certainly in your feet. Again, it is tied to the weight shift that happens in our bodies when we put the shoes on, and suddenly you start to use different muscles on your feet, around your ankles, different supporting muscles, and over time you will build the strength to hold your body and to be able to execute the movements. You might have pain in your lower back, in your abdominal, basically in your whole body when you're dancing, because that's how dancing works. You use your whole body, but especially in heels, lower back, because you might end up doing a little anterior pelvis tilt, which is tilting your hips forward as you are wearing the heels and extending the backside of your hamstrings and calves. So yeah, your hip flexors might shorten and you might use more back muscles. Also, what you can experience is in the upper back, because we are constantly pulling our shoulders back. I mean, depending on the teacher, but that's what I usually feel, is this pulling motion, because you need to balance everything out when you are wearing the heels. Another one is neck. I would say it's very different in heels. We do tend to use a lot of hair whips and isolations of the head, so you might have pain in your neck. Number 10, believe in yourself. You can do it. It might take time, you might not get it on the first go, but you will get there, and just trusting that you're doing it will take you there. Number 11 is making mistakes and being comfortable with that. I sometimes do improvisation theatre as well, and I want to quote my tutor Elina Stirpinen, who is in Stella Polaris, which is an improvisation group, and what she says in Finnish is that Moka On Lahja, which means that a mistake is a gift. So anything can happen from a mistake. Is not predicted, and just getting comfortable with that and dealing with it in the situation. So if you make a mistake, that's fine. Like, that's a place for you to learn and get better. So everybody does mistakes, nobody's perfect, and that's just part of the art. I think that's some of the magic of dancing and any type of live performance, is that anything can go wrong, even though it's like super rehearsed, but you just know, like, yeah, it is up to the moment what's going to happen. Number 12, the teacher is there to help you, or at least they should be. They should care about you. They should want to be there to teach you and make sure you get better and you're doing the things correctly. But you also have the responsibility as a student and a dancer to ask questions and be curious, and if you don't understand something, like, just go and ask. If they're good teachers, they will provide you with some information, or at least a direction. So yes, do trust your teachers and do use them. Number 13, you will develop a spatial awareness like no other. I would argue that it is very specific to dancers to become spatially aware of the room, especially if you get to perform or you start to perform. Number 14, musicality. I also do music, so I sing and I play the piano. The way that I listen to music when I'm doing music is very different to how I would listen to music as a dancer. If you listen to music as a dancer, like, you pay attention to the smallest details and you recognize patterns in a different way, and you connect that with your body, and the musicality that you can gain from that is just, yeah, it is very special to dancing. Number 15, style. Over time, you will develop your own style, and it will come from practice. You will start to recognize, like, oh, okay, I usually like to do things this way. I don't like this one. So yeah, then you develop your personal taste and style, but that will come with time. having an open mind when approaching to different things and just explore. It's fun. It's not serious. Like it's not life or death kind of situation. It shouldn't be. So just like having an open mind of going to different classes and teachers, even though you're sticking to that one class, is so exciting. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear what you should and shouldn't do in a dance class, I recommend you watch the next video, which is the one coming up. So I see you over there. Take care. Ciao.